Hello, Ariel. So
Hi.
Ariel is in Guatemala and I am in Bali, and today we are having that discussion about Chanuka. We are going to celebrate the first night of Chanuka on Sunday night. And Ariel was asking me to share my thoughts about Hanukkah this year. And so every year, we have the things that are the deep meaning, of course, that we can think of. But this year I was more thinking on how to integrate the light, really. So, I was thinking that the main thing that happened during Hanukkah was a reminder that we are multidimensional beings. And the Greeks wanted to contaminate actually our way of practicing our spiritual work as Jews. And so they in the beginning, when the Greek, came to Israel and they started to have this interaction with the Jewish rabbis, they were very enthusiastic and they were mesmerized by the Jewish wisdom. And so, and the Jews were as well, those rabbis, they were also as well interested in exchanging with the Greek philosophers, and they had a lot of exchange going on. And in the beginning it was all nice and happy and pretty, and it turned after some point it really turned, this marriage turned like really bad, because as the Greeks were actually contaminating the essence of the Jewish wisdom, they wanted to impose their vision on how enlightened we should be. And this is what they were doing actually in all the world, not just with the Jews. As they were conquering different parts of the world, they were considering that because they have been enlightened with their Greek philosophy, they had to bring the good word of God, or of philosophy, of whatever they believed in, to the whole world and to civilize the world. And of course, when they arrived in Israel, they saw that the dimension of the wisdom of Israel was like really something they were very interested in. But slowly, the Jews accepted to become Hellenized. And they accepted to mix, to dilute their essence with the Greek philosophy, and they slowly they forgot that they became Jews in a Greek way, and being Jew in a Greek way is to forget that, to think that Judaism is a religion and to function on a mind level, really. And the thing is that Judaism is not a religion. Someone that is really Jewish belongs to a family of soul who have a specific spiritual assignment, and who's coming here on earth as a light worker. And of course, there are many different types of light workers, and there are tribes that are spiritual light workers in the world. And there are individuals. Some of the tribes, there are so many tribes around the world, like take the Mamos or the Kogis in South America. I'm talking about that because this is where you are. There are indigenous people, amazing indigenous tribes in Australia, and there are indigenous American in North America. There are so many spiritual tribes that do spiritual work all around the world. And there are also some individuals. We say that the world is standing on 36 great spiritual workers that are hidden. There are secret light workers, and many of the individual light workers are connected to them somehow, because they all have their own grid of light workers. And the people that are on this grid, they don't necessarily know each other. They're not necessarily aware that they're on this grid. And some of them are doing this work in the nighttime. They're not even aware they're doing any work at all. But those main 36 pillars of the world, they are spread all among the nations, in different cultures, different nations. And so they are individuals, okay? And so all of these people, now, if they stop doing their spiritual work, the whole world is going to be affected, because all of those tribes and individual workers, they are doing a part of the work, and their work is actually aiming to maintain a cohesion between the different dimensions, the different worlds, or between the different species that are on Earth, so the different levels that are within the Earth plan. And so all of them have a certain type of work to perform, and they complement each other. So it's a little bit like an orchestra. If one is going, one of the instruments are going out of tune, like all the violins start to go out of tune, at some point, all other instruments will also go out of tune, because they're going to be influenced, they're going to be disturbed by the you know, what the other are playing, and they're also going to be out of tune. It's the same thing on every on the macro, on the micro. It's working on the same principle. Same in the body. All the organs are supposed to emit a certain frequency. Okay? There is a range of frequency that an organ is supposed to emit to be considered as a healthy frequency. Okay, and all of the organs are influencing each other, because it's like an orchestra. So if one organ starts to be out of tune, okay, and emit a frequency that is not healthy, it will affect the frequency of the other organs, and slowly they will go out of tune, all of them, and the body will lose its cohesion. Okay, so it's the same thing on a larger scale, on a macro scale. All of the tribes and different cultures and different nations and the different individuals have a different type of work. I'm talking about the people that are multidimensional beings. There are some people who are like hollows, who are not holding a soul inside, and different type of people, of course. But among the people that are multidimensional beings, if their color, the color of the light they are supposed to attract, if the frequency they're supposed to hold is how you say it, distorted, it will affect the harmony of the whole world. And so that's why the universalism of the Greek was not just a political weapon, because when you want the whole world to become one of a kind, you know, like everybody needs to be the same, you know, everybody needs to hold the same type of thinking, the same type of wisdom, the same type of way of functioning in life. And this is what the Greeks were proning, really. It's not just a political weapon that is serving the goal of making all those people much more controllable, but it's also a spiritual weapon. It's a spiritual world, because you're preventing all of those people to do their spiritual work, and so necessarily it will affect the energetic balance of the world. Okay, and so that was what the Chashmonaim, you know, the Chashmonaim, when they stood up, the Chashmonaim were that family of priests that stood up against the Greeks, and they never carried a weapon in their life. They were like just a few individuals. They never learned to fight before, and they were not aiming to win the war at all. They were not even for 1 second thinking that it was possible to win that war, because the Greeks had huge armies, and they were, you know, properly equipped, and the Chashmonaim were nothing like that at all. You know, they were just a bunch of priests who never, you know, fought in their life on a physical plane. And but they decided to stand up to the Greeks to make a point that by doing this, the Greeks were really jeopardizing the spiritual energetical balance of the world. And that's the reason why they fought the Greek. It was to send a message to the world that by accepting this universalism, this one unique way of thinking, one unique way of being, one unique way of being enlightened, was so dangerous, because it was depriving all the cultures and nations of their spiritual essence. And so they ended up by miracle winning the war somehow, but it was like completely like a side effect of, this is not what they are aiming for. And this, you know, age of enlightenment that gave birth to this leitmotif of the accidental world of, you know, I'm here to enlighten you and to show you the right way of being, that has deprived, you know, it gave birth to the Crusades and all the spiritual world, the spiritual wars that deprived so many beautiful cultures from their essence, you know, from their heritage and from their really their roots.